it's important to find out what you like and how you connected to music or your art in the first place. So when I was writing a lot of music, or when I started writing a lot of music, I was writing a lot of electronic stuff and sound design stuff. But I didn't like going to concerts. I didn't really like going to live shows because to me, like I've said earlier, this like music is very like vulnerable and personal. So being around a lot of people and hearing it and like experiencing that wasn't comfortable for me. I like to be alone with headphones on when I listen to music. So for me, that part, finding out what I liked, was that it didn't really make a lot of sense for me to make club bangers or, like festival music when I just wanted to like lay down in bed and listen to music with my headphones on. So
Mm.
at that point was when I kind of realized I wanted to write. Yeah, what's interesting about electronic music is the freedom, but something I maybe don't really care for is like the insane energy of it. I'm more relaxed. That's what I like, and I'm going to start looking in that direction. So that was kind of the first turning point for me with music. The second thing I would say is really important is to try and integrate your talents and interests. So once I'd kind of figured out I didn't want to write as much electronic music, I realized maybe I should start, using vocals in my music. But I'd had a lot of issues finding vocalists, so I started just trying out my own vocals, and you know, they weren't spectacular, but that added another element to my music that wasn't there before. And now I was able to produce the beat, sing on it, master it, and send it out. Everything was this nice little package that I was able to do myself. And that way it's very much you, and you're going to have elements in that song that are uniquely yours, and they weren't touched by anyone else. So there's no other opinion injected into it other than your own. And I think that is like really special. And I think now the music that I make, like, Futch, I'll send you some of the stuff I'm doing now. It's very
Cool.
much me. And it doesn't sound like, like, yeah, maybe one of the tracks here is fundamentally a house song, but it's my house song. You know what I mean? And that's because of integrating, my vocals into music. And, I've always liked to draw, so I'm just drawing my cover art now. That's another thing you can pull in. So whatever it is you like, it can be other instruments. If you like go-karting, take videos of go-karting and make that your music video. Whatever, like little things like that is something that can really personalize your brand too. But also just, it'll make you happier if you're doing all the things you like and finding a way to put them together. It's a really, really cool experience to be able to do that.
Totally.
Um, the third step I had written was to develop your voice, your artistic voice. And integrating all of those elements is something that can really help develop your voice. And it's just something that takes time. You'll figure it out at some point. I remember when I'd started writing music, I was scrambling so hard to try and find my sound, and everything I wrote sounded like someone else,
Right.
because I was like super into certain labels. So all my music I wrote, for the first couple of years sounded like music that would release off Bitbird because I like Bitbird so much. That was kind of what was going on there. Um, but after a while, after I wrote that Blue EP, I was like, oh, this really has a sound now. Like this is like my voice in this EP. Like it's very apparent that this sounds like me. And now I can't even shake it. I can't write anything else that doesn't sound like my voice because, I don't know, it's there. I've developed it. And this is something that takes time, but it's something that's really important if you want to display your opinion. So yeah, develop your voice and find a way to to share it, I guess. Find mediums that work, you know. And then I guess this kind of ties into my fourth point, which is basically just to find a way to market your voice or develop a brand around it. And I think that's kind of an ugly word for artistry. I think a better way to put it is to develop a world. Sounds kind of corny, but it's a really good way to put it because, if you're an artist, you have an idea of what your music looks like or what your art sounds like, or, anything like that. Like you create in this headspace, and you have a very clear idea of what it is, but no one else knows what it is. And it's super, super special and unique to you. And you know that it's different, and you know it's unique, and you know that like people, there's huge opportunity for people to enjoy it, but they can't see what you see. So I think part of the challenge as an artist, and part of growing as an artist, is finding a way to expand that world outside of your own head, and finding a way to get other people to view it in the same way that you do, which is hopefully special. And I think that finding your demographic is something that I've had a lot of trouble with, because I've still had a lot of trouble finding a way to get the world out of my head and onto Instagram or something. Like
Mm.
sometimes it's really complicated. You know, Finding an audience isn't always complicated, but finding your audience is, maybe a little bit harder if you're not making pop music or, what's trendy. You have to find a way to get it to appeal to the people who think like you do. And sometimes that's
Mhm.
difficult. But yeah, I would say those are like my 4 points, and like what's usually on my mind as an artist, and like how I like to create, and where I want to go. And I think, all of those ideas were presented to me at some point by someone, and I think they've stayed with me because they appeal to me as an artist, and I think they're very, very useful. And if you're an artist, if you're a singer or a songwriter or a painter or whatever, animator, these are all really useful ways to grow, I think,
Mm.
to grow and to learn as an
Cool.
artist.